All right. Hey, chat, what is up? I am Nick LaRocco representing Smackdown, and joining me today is absolutely nobody. It is just me on this episode of Smackdown for the Dirt Sheet Radio recap. But hey, chat, I promise we are going to have a lot of fun. So, since there's no one else to talk about, no one else to introduce, why don't we just get right into it? Ooh, I see the chat there. It's popping off. Hey, Randy, how's it going? But yeah, so we had a tremendous main event. This was Solo Sikoa taking on Jimmy Uso. This was brother versus brother. At the very top of the hour, at the very start of the show, I should say, is they talked about how deep this match goes. Again, this is a battle of literally the bloodline. Like, you have the older brother taking on the younger brother here. And I want to give a moment for right before this match started, actually, if anyone else noticed this, Michael Cole accidentally name dropped Kevin Dunn, and it seemed like he went through an actual like panic attack. They need help. Honestly, don't we all? But yeah, no, exactly. And the reason Zach brings that up is Jimmy told Roman at the very end of the show that they need help. But like I said, no, we're going to be talking about the main event. We had a very hot crowd for Jimmy Uso. Jimmy Uso is absolutely an incredible talent. And just, the fact that he was able to come in there and masterfully just wrangle in that crowd, it shows just how amazing he is. And quite frankly, I'm glad that he's able to step out of the shadow of his brother, Jey Uso. And we all know the crowd was chanting yeet, yeet, yeet all night long. And again, this was a absolutely wild show, but like our friend Zach said in the chat, they need help. Jimmy Uso told Roman Reigns after a bloodline attack that they needed help because it's 4-on-2, and we could probably even make it like a 5-on-2 or a 6-on-2 when you're talking about Jacob Fatu, because during this match, Solo Sikoa had the entirety of the bloodline. He did not need a single other person backing him up from the audience, unless it was Jacob Fatu, Tama Tonga, and Tonga Loa. Now, Jimmy Uso, he had, of course, the entirety of the WWE Universe, all of the fans in attendance. Where were they? I believe they were in Greenville, South Carolina. So all of them were rooting for Jimmy Uso, and he was very defiant in this match, I might say. No matter what the numbers were, he kept fighting back. He kept taking it to Solo Sikoa, and I gotta say, I think it was a great showcase for Jimmy Uso. Like I said, I think a lot of people were worried that he wasn't going to be able to kind of, show what he can do separate from the tag team. Hunter says, Just Radio, they need Sam and Jay. Hey, they need all the help that they can get. We're looking at people like, I heard a lot of people, one of my buddies, Chris, saying, Zilla, like, throw him in there. Let's see Zach saying, who do you ask to help when no one wants to help them? No, that's exactly the biggest thing is, Roman has to go on this entire one-man tour, basically, he destroyed how many people on the roster leading up to the loss of the title against Cody Rhodes. Roman Reigns was single-handedly destroying every single person that was in his pathway and his path of destruction, So he absolutely has a lot of people that he needs to make amends with. Jay says, Jey Uso will be joining back soon. Zach says, no, he won't. Well, we could probably even take this back earlier at the night, at the very start of the show, when we had a absolute behemoth reaction for Jimmy Uso, which again was so cool to see. And Roman Reigns coming out as the crowd chants OTC, OTC, OTC for that original tribal chief. Roman Reigns letting everyone know that he's not a wise man, but he is a tribal chief. Jimmy Uso, though, bringing up the fact, how can you be a tribal chief when you do not have a tribe that you can be the chieftain of? there's a lot of dynamics there, I have to say. Jay saying Paul Heyman needs to come back soon. They, like I said, they need all the help they can get, be it, the manpower to take on someone that is such a big tank like a Jacob Fatu. But, you got the wise man in Paul Heyman, the man that was single-handedly responsible for managing the bloodline up into the point of no return, because those guys are all 100% just absolute stars. But getting back to this main event, though, we absolutely had a barn burner when it came down to a brutal force match with Michael Cole, again, just having this fear in his eyes as he referenced Kevin Dunn accidentally. But Jimmy Uso was able to, try to fend off the numbers as best as he could, but Solo Sikoa knew how to masterfully distract the referee. I believe it was referee Jessica Carr for that match. And Jacob Fatu was, getting his cheap shots in there. So was Tonga Loa. So was Tama Tonga. And yeah, all of those guys ended up being a little too much for Jimmy Uso to be able to handle on his own. And that's when, at the very end of the show, as Solo Sikoa has pinned Jimmy Uso, we have Roman Reigns coming out to save the day as he would. Because again, that's the OTC. That's the real tribal chief wanting to take back what's his, wanting to take control of that bloodline. But, he comes out there following the Swift defeat. And, yeah, Roman Reigns just annihilated. He Superman punches Jacob Fatu, which was always nice to see. This is, again, following up with him attacking Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa. And then we have a battle of the tribal chiefs right there in the ring. Solo on this side, Roman Reigns on this side. What's going to happen? We're not going to find out, because Jacob Fatu gets right back in there. And again, it is just brute force from Fatu. He is absolutely amazing. It was Aura versus Aura when Jacob was attacking Roman Reigns, but 4-on-2 is a lot for anyone to handle. And again, like we were just talking about on there, you had to have, yes, Mac, it is Friday Neek already. Woohoo! Welcome to Smackdown. Smackdown? What? That's when you're here. Welcome to Neek Down. There we go. But yeah, taking it back. Once Roman Reigns came out there and just, again, he cleaned house, 4-on-2 was too much for Roman and Jimmy to handle, leaving Jimmy and Roman laid out as the fingers go up. Just like this, representing the bloodline, Jimmy tells Roman they need some serious help. Zach saying Jay's single career kicking off strong. Yeah, man, absolutely. I mean, like the way that Jay was able to just come on out there and literally be the Intercontinental Champion that I'd say WWE has needed for years. That is the reaction I think that WWE has wanted from an IC champion for, oh gosh, so long. Because think about it, I'd say Ruthless Aggression was probably the last time we had reactions like that for someone of the IC title. That's at least the last time I could remember. And yeah, it is absolutely iconic to see what Jay is capable of doing. Yeet it up, chat, please. I want you to send all your yeets in there. I'll be sure to share them. But like we said, we are going to be having the amazing intro that was Jimmy Uso coming out there, again, getting the reaction and the response that he needed. But it didn't last long, because guess what? A Mr. Roman Reigns came down and was able to steal the thunder. Jimmy was saying how the main event was going to be Big Bro versus Little Bro. But, the OTC says he's not a wise man. He's a tribal chief. And like we said, Jimmy tells him that, how can you be a tribal chief when you don't have the tribe to back it up? Now, Jimmy also says that he knows one person that they can get help from. But as the crowd is going, yeet, 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 guess what? Roman says, no yeet. No yeet. Now, Jimmy leaves this whole thing with just one final thought at that point, is that he's the only one in the family that still acknowledges Roman. So, we still got that element of respect there. And I am very curious, too, how the brothers are going to be mending their fences. And it'll be cool to be able to see a reunion of the Usos. And if we can have Usos versus Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, I would absolutely love that. Because, hey, if we can get the titles off them, then, hey, let's do it and give them back to the Usos. Oh, my gosh. And picture Jey Uso as a double champion. IC title on one shoulder and have him have the tag titles on the other. Oh, man, that's going to be great. That will be great. And can we also take a moment, please, Chat, what do you think of this? I posted this on Dirt Sheet Radio earlier. Look at that. That is Aura right there. Come on. Come on. That is our tribal chief. Chat, put the finger up there. Let's go. Let's go. But getting into our first match of the night, and this is the actual technical opening match. The one I started with is the main event. So, hey, if you are just joining us, make sure you go and rewind, and we will be talking more about the main event, and we'll probably bring it up later because, hey, I might reference it for a few of my picks for later. But getting into that opening match, we have for the United States title, the champion LA Knight, taking on Carmelo. And Carmelo Hayes is absolutely a fantastic wrestler. It is so nice to be able to see Melo up in there. And I really appreciated the old school reference, chat. I don't know if you guys caught it, but we had Corey Graves saying that Melo was planning to bring back the Spinner US title. There's a lovely deep cut right there. Hey, there we go. Thank you, Zach. Thank you. Again, get those fingers up, chat. Represent the bloodline. The real tribal chief, maybe? We'll see. But yes, so getting back to it, Corey Graves is talking about Melo wanting to bring back that Spinner United States title. Andrade is sitting ringside watching this match, and he is most definitely playing some mind games there. But this was an awesome back and forth match. You know, this was absolutely everything that you imagine it's going to be when you have these two amazing talents in the ring together, duking it out. And, you know, of course, we had some amazing shots like this of a very frustrated Melo because, unfortunately, Melo does not get the title. LA Knight does retain. Yeah. And again, you know, a lot of this came down to just sheer mind games and just being absolutely distracted. We have, of course, also Andrade being right there. And I cannot get this picture to move, chat. There we go. We got it. We got it, absolutely. But yes, hey, we got J Manuel. Shirts for people that lift weights. Yeah, man, that's what I do. What are you talking about? Look at that. Thank you for giving me any excuse to flex, my man. Appreciate it. But yeah, also I represent WCW up in here. Mac, if you are in that chat, buddy, we will be having an amazing WCW show. I will be talking about that at the very end of this stream. But yeah, getting back to that opening match, though, again, you know, Carmelo Hayes was out there, and he just was awesome. You know, he was going to great lengths to try and counter anything and everything that LA Knight was, you know, throwing his way. And, you know, each one was taking advantage of the other being distracted, or, you know, again, Andrade was playing mind games and people were, you know, looking at him. And then next thing you know, LA Knight, you know, takes from behind, you know, runs up on Carmelo and then just like is up on the corner, and he jumps from that middle rope up into the top rope and goes for the flying elbow. And man, I would love to have seen Randy Savage do something like that. That was absolutely incredible athleticism. Yo, Mac represents Spring Stampede 99. Chat again. Hey, listen, next weekend, Mac and I are going to be talking all about WCW Spring Stampede 1999. So be sure to come in and hang out with us there, where we're going to be talking a lot more about that. But getting back to the show after LA Knight's victory, yeah, chat, give us a yeah. Big Jim, as Roman Reigns called Jimmy Uso, ends up bumping into Cody Rhodes in the backstage area. Jimmy tells Cody to consider it a favor. Don't count on more of those when Jimmy and Roman save Cody. Now, Cody says that Solo is not the same guy he was before Jimmy left and went on his break, his hiatus. So, again, that's another thing to keep track of. Hey, there's John Escudero. Yeah! But yeah, so getting back into this, Lash Legend and Jakar Jackson are promoting themselves and their work on NXT. Real cool. They want to win the women's tag team titles. They want to show what the Meta Girls are all about. And it feels like when they were leading up to this, I think they had a mention that there was going to be some kind of a title defense that Jade and Bianca were going to have on an episode of Raw or one of the upcoming shows. And I believe they said that they were going to be defending their women's tag titles on there. Can't hear me. What? Can you hear me now, chat? Let me know. Anyone? Going once? Going twice? Sold? Anything, chat? We good? I'm not able to tell. I'm all alone. But yeah, I'll turn the music down. Hopefully that will help. But if we can get back into this. Okay, as long as Mac can hear me, that's what matters. Thank you, Mac. Okay, so chat, we are back at it, and we will start with going into the lovely women's tag team titles match. But guess what? We don't actually get into the women's tag title match. No. Because Kevin freaking Owens runs right in there. And Kevin Owens is able to, he rushes in there. He's wearing a Dusty Rhodes shirt, and they end up cutting his mic out. And as he's interrupting this whole segment, he jumps over to Corey Graves' commentary area where he steals Corey's headset and basically is trying to tell everyone that it's not his fault. This was something that Cody was absolutely asking for. And all right, thank you. I think everyone's just playing a trick on me, chat. But hey, so Kevin Owens, he rushes on in there and he interrupts what was going to be the start of the women's tag team title match. Kevin Owens wears that Dusty Rhodes shirt, and right when he's getting ready to talk about his reasonings for what he did, if you saw on social media chat, Kevin Owens got into a altercation behind the scenes by Cody's a lovely American Nightmare bus, the Wheatley Vodka sided bus, and they just started duking it out. It wasn't captured by WWE cameras, exclusively by the fans that were locally in that area, capturing it for social media. So I thought that was a real nice touch. I love when things are very grassroots level with that. But absolutely, this was carrying over from there. And as Kevin Owens goes over to take Corey Graves' headset, that's when Cody Rhodes is coming down. He means business. The suit jacket comes off. He is just absolutely getting ready to go. He's, taking up that shirt. And yeah, this is fighting time. Security rushes on in there to try and stop this. Nick Aldis rushes on in there. And surprisingly, even Randy Orton is getting in on there. Now, remember, Randy Orton's been sort of allied with both of these gentlemen for quite some time now. And again, it's wild to see Randy Orton, of all people, getting involved in this, right? And even Nick Aldis has mentioned that at some point in the show. But Randy Orton says to Cody that he's going to go into the ring and he's going to try to talk to Kevin Owens. So Randy jumps in there to try to calm Kevin Owens down, and Kevin's just shoving past security, and Randy is trying to grab him, and Kevin just elbows Randy right in the face, and you don't do that to the Viper. So Randy now is just going to sock Kevin Owens in the mouth with a punch. Just a right jab, and that knocks Kevin Owens out of the ring, and KO is just like, oh, I don't appreciate that. And Kevin Owens, Randy Orton, they all just, clear out of that whole ringside area as they go to commercial, where we will come back and have the actual women's tag team title match. Now we can get right into that. So Lash Legend, Jakara Jackson come out, and they again were not interrupted this time around, but we did have a couple people ringside. We had Trick Williams sitting there with his title. We also had Chelsea Green, who allegedly did not shower for the past week since her dumpster match. And we also had Piper Niven being able to stand there, and everything was all dandy, no worries there. This was pretty good back and forth match. Not a whole lot to say about it, except for just the dominant fashion that Jade Cargill and Bianca Belair won, or I should say retained their tag team titles. And I thought it was pretty good how their tandem offense is really improving. Jade just has this absolute presence, man. Like, she is a force to be reckoned with. And of course, you got to talk about Bianca Belair. Bianca is just so good, and it's nice to be able to see her with a championship title. Now, I don't know what more, we're going to be able to see from them when it comes to more feuds, but I really like these two together. And again, look at that. That is just pure presence. Jade, again, pure aura. Bianca, just incredible. But we will move on. Again, we are in the backstage area, and Cody Rhodes is getting calmed down by Nick Aldis, and again, Randy Orton, of all people. And Randy tells Cody, hey, man, just go into the bus, go have a drink of that Wheatley vodka. That's, wasn't it like so neat? You drink it? I don't know. But yeah, Randy Orton is going to go and take care of business his way, and Randy gives that face that the Viper is thinking of something absolutely sinister. Where Nick Aldis also says that Randy Orton, the voice of reason, who would have thought? Absolutely. Chat, what did you guys think of just everything that we had here, from the women's tag title match to just Kevin Owens interrupting it to Randy Orton being just a sly, cheeky Viper per usual? Chat, let me know. But I really appreciated the overall kind of segment here, because I was not expecting any of that to just start breaking down. Denise after Kevin's issue. Yeah, Zach, I absolutely agree with that. I thought it was a cool touch too that Kevin Owens was wearing the Dusty Rhodes T-shirt there. Of course, got a ton Cody with the man that he basically identifies. That's his whole personality, is that Dusty is his father. Speaking of fathers, hey, where's Christian Cage? But yeah, Cody Rhodes he's doing the Sting thing where he's a little too trusting of people. Like, he got too trusting and too close with Kevin Owens, who has a history of this. We've seen it time and time again. They even had to show, Jericho from, Jericho's time that he was betrayed by Kevin Owens. Why is my name on the list? The amount of times that Kevin Owens has done this. He's a prize fighter. All he cares about is, supporting his family. I really appreciate that side of it, because, chat, I've said this several times in the past, as I very much find it like a Breaking Bad type of character. He's very much a shade of gray. He's there to make money, to support his family. So, hey, you can't not root for him in that way, but it's just the way he goes about it. Zach says, I was surprised to see KO attacking Randy. Yeah, man, we are going to be getting into that. Exactly. KO betrays all his friends. I mean, the amount of times we've seen him just go after Sami Zayn. What can you do? What can you do? But again, it's the Sting philosophy of Sting needs to stop being so trusted. It's exactly what Cody Rhodes needs to do. He's literally that blonde surfer Sting that is just like, oh, Ric Flair, yeah, there's no way you're going to jump me from behind with the Four Horsemen. That's not going to happen. What are you talking about? And then he gets jumped, and he wonders, how did that happen? But alas, we will go on to the next segment, where we had Nia Jax and Tiffany Stratton. Tiffy time. Nia says that Liv Morgan is going to be no match for her at Crown Jewel in Saudi Arabia. And the Queen says that she's going to annihilate Liv Morgan, just like she has annihilated everyone that has stood in her path of destruction. She also just forcefully grabs, like, you guys remember that one Facebook page, grabbing food with force? It was kind of like that, how she just reaches over and grabs Tiffany Stratton, and almost in a threatening manner is saying, no, Tiffy, remember, you will come out in Saudi Arabia after I destroy and basically decimate Liv Morgan. You will get out there and you will cash in on her. You will not cash in on me. And Naomi just interrupts this promo. I don't even think Naomi did it to save Tiffy. I think she just wanted to interrupt. And in fact, Naomi says the only reason Nia ever wins things is because of that broke down Barbie that helps her. I thought that was a great one-liner. And she also brings up the logic where she has personally pinned both Tiffy and Nia Jax on separate occasions. And I love when we're able to bring in continuity and logic into pro wrestling, which was something I'm sure a lot of you guys probably remember for the last however many years in an old regime. We really didn't have great continuity, and there would be those points that would be brought up along the lines of, oh, so-and-so, this is our first time in the ring. Oh, so-and-so, this is going to be the first time I'm ever going to defeat you. But then it's like, wait a minute, we kind of remember a few years back, but, enough of an old regime. We're going to have a special guest jumping on in here. Ladies and gentlemen, this is the Mac in Smackdown. Mac, how are you doing? Mac, can you hear me?
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
All right. So I'm driving home from work. They needed me today, so I just figured I'd pop in. I knew it's not for a couple more segments on the show, but I just wanted to weigh in on the vignette that we saw tonight. I am a huge, as everybody knows, Motor City Machine Guns mark. I'm excited to see them. I've been a fan of Alex Shelley since 2004 when he was jerking the curtain with Jimmy Jacobs at Ring of Honor. Would I have preferred them to see them in? Would I have preferred to see them in AEW? I don't know. I think they have an abundance of tag teams there right now. I think they're going to do wonders in the WWE. Honestly, everybody knows I'm not a big WWE guy. I watch SmackDown for the show, for this show specifically. I try to keep up with it for my Instagram page, but I'm not an avid watcher. But with the inclusion of the Machine Guns on the SmackDown roster, it's must watch for me, and I know for a lot of people. I know for you, Nick. I know for Jonathan. People who've been following them for years. But yeah, I just wanted to, Alex. Listen, every indie wrestler since 2006 has been copying Alex Shelley's moveset. He's one of the most influential, underrated guys in independent wrestling history. Flew under the radar in TNA for years. Got his due last year when he won the TNA World Championship, the Impact World Championship. And I'm just a huge Alex Shelley mark. He's been in my top 5 for years. Chris Sabin as well. I'm not as big as a fan of Sabin. I like him. I think he's great. But that's as a singles. As a team, they're one of the most explosive, badass, innovative teams that I've ever came across in watching my 32 years of wrestling. So I just thought I would have my 2 cents there because I'm so excited, especially against a team like Legado del Fantasma who can go.
Right.
I'm really happy to see that.
Roberto.
Yeah, I'm really excited to see that match. But I thought that I would just get in my 2 cents about that, and I'll let you continue the Friday Neek solo cast.
All right, Mac. Thank you for jumping on in here. Appreciate it, bud.
All right, hey. Saturday or Friday or Saturday, whatever day we do it, WCW Spring Stampede 1999 cast. Let's fucking go!
Let's go! Yes, sir. Represent. I got the shirt on.
Oh yeah! Fuck yeah! All right, Nick. Have a good rest of your show. I'm going to drive home.
All right. Have a safe drive, brother.
All right, later, buddy.
See you, man. All right. Shout out to Mac for joining us. Like we said, Mac and I will be on the lovely Spring Stampede 1999 recap show. We have been delaying this time and time again for a variety of different reasons, be it work or be it, different people, myself, being sick. So, finally we're looking at doing it next weekend. So let's make sure that we finally lock that down and do that. But yeah, we were just talking about Nia Jax and Naomi. They had an amazing promo battle that itself went right into a actual match. And guess what? We had Dirty Dom. We had Liv Morgan and Raquel getting involved in there, kind of interrupting things. Because remember, Liv Morgan will be taking on Nia Jax, champion versus champion at Crown Jewel. These three are going to be sitting at ringside for the event that follows, and we pretty much get right into the match with Nia Jax and Naomi. Itself was relatively physical, and it's everything you expect from a match featuring Nia Jax. I like the way that they were going about showcasing how agile and how swift Naomi is, but anytime that Nia caught her, it was just like a game ender almost. And we eventually got to the part where I believe it was Tiffy was attempting to hit Naomi on the outside with the Money in the Bank briefcase, and Raquel actually goes up and takes it from her. Tiffy turns around to confront Raquel about that, but then all of a sudden gets kicked right in the head by Naomi. That was pretty fun. But now remember, Raquel and Liv now have access to the Money in the Bank briefcase, so they ended up taking that. As Nia goes up top, Liv runs up, attempted to swing it and hit Nia Jax in the side with the briefcase, completely missed it. So she does a second attempt, and that one, was successful. And Naomi, with the power, was able to go and power bomb Nia Jax from the middle rope. 1, 2, 3. Naomi pins the champion. She's going to be getting a title shot from there. All right, well, we got to be careful about that. But yeah, so Naomi gets that victory on there, and we have Liv Morgan rushing on in there with Raquel and Dirty Dom as we hear, "This is my brutality." Freaking Rhea Ripley is here. Yo, Raw represents on this episode of SmackDown when it comes to the women's match. But we also had the NXT representation in the previous one, too. So there's a lot of representation going on with these women's matches. But yeah, Rhea Ripley rushes in there, and Liv Morgan and Dirty Dom were basically caught in between a rock and a hard place because, it was either we got to deal with Rhea Ripley or we got to go in the ring and deal with Nia Jax. Liv thought it was going to be much of a better choice to rush into the ringside area where obviously, she gets met by Nia Jax, who should be taking on a crown jewel, but Rhea Ripley rushes in there, kicks Nia Jax out of the ring because that doesn't work for her, brother, and is starting to fight with Liv Morgan, and Dirty Dom valiantly goes in and saves the day. Gosh, he's such an amazing gentleman. What an absolute icon. And of course, they're able to get away just in time. Now we start to get towards the nitty gritty. One of the amazing things, like Mac was talking about, MCMG, Motor City Machine Guns. We had Carmelo walk in the backstage area. He has an ice pack over his head, and he goes up to Nick Aldis, right? And he's just talking about how he's had all these matches, but he still he thinks he could do more. So Nick's starting to give Game 7 for Melo taking on Andrade, and we were able to get also Santos Escobar walking up to Nick Aldis alongside Elektra and Humberto and Angel Garza, and Santos is sticking up for his team, and I love that. I love when a stable leader is trying to get title shots for the rest of the crew. And in fact, Santos is able to talk their way into a major match where Nick Aldis himself says that Garza and Humberto will be taking on a team that he has handpicked himself. Handpicked himself? Get it? All right, well, if you didn't get that one, though, there are going to be plenty more to come because that was not the only reference. A lot of people thought, myself included, that it was going to be the only reference, but then we got another one of those coming soon vignettes, and this one in particular just went right there. For a split second, one singular frame, we were able to see this. MCMG spray painted onto a wall, and just a car driving through Detroit. Like every single thing that could potentially be a reference or hint was just right there. And again, it was literally for a single frame spelled out for us. But shout out to whoever was on Twitter that actually posted that. That was a real good catch right in the moment. And then if you thought that wasn't enough, Nick Aldis is now preventing an argument between DIY and the Street Profits. And this argument is about just, their tag team ladder match from last week, which was an absolute banger of a match. If you did not see it, chat, I absolutely 100% recommend go check that tag team ladder match out. I honestly thought it was probably one of the best matches from all of last week. Zach says, Saban's knees are really bad, like Stone Cold Steve Austin's are. I'm surprised they're getting an opportunity in WWE. I think with the current regime, a lot of it just comes down to how influential both of these guys are, because I think they're going to absolutely be both the player-coach type of role, because both guys not just are going to be awesome in the ring, and there's a lot of dream matches that you can get in there. And again, it's just wild that we're going to be able to say that Motor City Machine Guns are on the WWE roster. But you also have the element that is, these guys are very experienced. They both love teaching. They both are just, absolute legends. And, there's going to be a lot to, learn from these guys, especially when it comes down to NXT. Because I know, the rumor was that originally they were both going to go right to NXT back when we all thought that the Lucha Brothers were going to be coming to SmackDown to, be the veteran tag team on there. But, with how things have kind of turned around, I think it's absolutely awesome that we're able to see MCMG on SmackDown, and there's no reason they still can't be player coaches. There's no reason they still can't go and help out the rookies and anyone that's asking for advice. But like I was talking about, DIY and Street Profits were arguing over the results from their tag team ladder match, and Nick Aldis mentions once again that there is going to be a brand new tag team coming onto the SmackDown roster. we had so many different references to what was going on there with that whole like tag team division, but we weren't able to really let that simmer for too long, because we then found out that there was some sort of commotion happening. A bunch of staffers running up being like, yeah, Nick, come here, we need help. And Nick Aldis is like, all right, security, come on, let's go. And as they rush over, they see Kevin Owens was attacking Randy Orton. Like Kevin Owens is just absolutely wild. Like this guy is just, again, he's back to like the old Kevin Owens. This is the Kevin Owens that's attacking all of his friends yet again. You know, we talked about this, you know, countless times, chat. Kevin Owens is just like Randy Orton in that he cannot be trusted. But all we saw was just, you know, the aftermath. There was like a few, you know, kicks in there, but these guys are wrestlers. They're meant to take that. Could we see this being the Viper sort of luring someone in? Could this be them trying to, you know, put the wool over Cody Rhodes' eyes? Who knows? But yeah, this was absolutely just a wild segment. And this again just shows how wild like this episode of SmackDown was. Like, you legitimately did not know what was going to happen next, and that was something I absolutely loved about, you know, the old era of SmackDown. Like, if you watch an episode of SmackDown from like 1999 to 2005, like, this is the type of wild stuff that you would be seeing that whole night. Let's see in the chat here, we have Max saying Johnny Gargano, you SOB. I'm looking at you. Shelly's move stealing booty. Oh man, Johnny Wrestling. You cannot keep getting away with this. And you know who can't keep getting away with what he does? Kevin Owens. Come on. Why is KO doing all that stuff? He can't keep getting away with that. But yeah, you know, we got through this episode of SmackDown. Like we said, you know, we got to the main event. If you are just joining us, like I said, that main event has been covered at the very beginning of the show, because, hey, that's just what we do on here. So whenever the stream is done, make sure you go and rewind this and check all of that out. But we will be going on to the lovely segments that we usually have to end every episode of these recaps. So we will be looking, of course, at who our Jobber of the Night is, presented by comicbookclick.com. Hey, I'm going to go to the Comic Book Click right now, and you know what happens when I'm going to go there? I'm going to see all of these different things. I'm going to see pop culture news. I'm going to see wrestling news. I'm going to see comic book news. Yo, I'm going to be getting access to Dershi Radio, the Major Issues podcast. You cannot get any better than that. So go check out Comic Book Click. But it is, again, Jobber of the Night. I can't believe that didn't stay up there. I thought I clicked it. Jobber of the Night, I am going to have to say that I will be future picking this. This is going to be set in chronostasis and will be unleashed next week, I believe. I believe this is when they're arriving, but I'm going to be going with, of course, Garza and Berto, because those two guys are going to get annihilated by the moveset and the arrival of the MCMG, baby. Motor City Machine Guns. Man, I cannot believe that. It's still so wild that we're going to be having them in WWE. I cannot get over that. I can't. But we'll be doing our megastar of the night. That was me legitimately having a stroke there and struggling there. That wasn't me being cute how I usually do with it. But this is presented by the Cold Case Project. Yes, it's been a while since we've heard the Cold Case Project on here. My brother Tony runs Cold Case Project, and it's a channel that focuses on all kinds of disappearances, murders, and other cold cases. So if you like true crime content, make sure you go subscribe to the YouTube channel and go check all of that out. There's a lot of binge-worthy stuff too. I mean, we're talking videos like an hour, 2 hours. But anyways, it's looking at the megastar of the night, and there is no other choice for me on this, fellas. The way he came out there, come on, I gotta say, it is the OTC himself. It is the tribal chief, Roman Reigns. Like, this guy's aura is unmatched. It is just wild to see how this guy just comes out and can steal the show instantly. And that leaves us with the match of the night. That one was intentional. Brought to you by monk.com, monq.com. Use promo code DSR10, and when you use DSR10 at checkout, you will be getting 10% off your purchase of personal aromatherapy diffusers. You know, there is not a whole lot of matches on tonight, I'll admit. I think there's only like 3 or 4 of them, but I'm going to have to say for my match of the night, I'm going to be going with What am I going to be going with? Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso. The main event, I thought it was great when it came down to the storytelling aspect of it, but also I really appreciated how we're going to be going from point A to point B when it comes down to this Bloodline Civil War, and how we're going to be having, potentially Jey Uso, potentially, other different characters and players within this war taking place. I can't wait to see if Jimmy's referring to Jey Uso as the help that they're going to need, or if they're referring to Paul Heyman, or if they're referring to anyone else, Sami Zayn, who knows. But yeah, I am very much looking forward to what's going to be going on there, and I think this was a very important main event of Solo Sikoa and Jimmy Uso, because again, it establishes what Solo Sikoa and the Bloodline are capable of. I love that they were able to be just as dominant of a force as possible against these original Bloodline members, and we were able to see Jimmy Uso coming in there, being popular, showing off what he's capable of, and I absolutely appreciated that. And we will be going from point A over to point B. So I think this was absolutely necessary main event, and this is going to be very important for the next several weeks, if not months. Now, I also want to give a future shout out to Motor City Machine Guns once again taking on Berto and Garza, because that's also going to be an awesome match, and what a great match to show off what MCMG can do if you're a part of the fan base that has not ever experienced what the Machine Guns can do. But yeah, this has been the episode of the Dirt Sheet Radio's Smackdown recap, the Sneakdown episode. I want to thank you for joining me, and if you liked hanging out with me, guess what? There's a whole cast and crew of a lot of other people too that you can be hanging out with. So again, I want to thank you for joining me, of course, on tonight's Smackdown post-show rewind. But when you got Smackdown, of course, on Monday nights, you got to have a Raw recap. Am I right? So we have the Raw recap post-show rewind, and on Tuesdays, of course, you got NXT. Going back to Wednesday nights, there's the Dynamite post-show rewind that I, of course, will be on. And speaking of shows I'm on, immediately after that, the best kept secret in all of online podcasting, talking about wrestling, is myself, Jonathan Cadero, Greg Thomas. Occasionally, Mac will also be joining us, and it's going to be absolutely great. We love to talk about every week's news in professional wrestling. Following that, later in the night on Thursday evenings, we will have the TNA Impact Rewind. Like I said, Friday nights for all of us to hang out, talk about SmackDown. When you want to follow that up, we're going to be, of course, having Sundays, CJ and Tyler's Totally Not Level Up Adventure. They're not covering that anymore. It's going to be just also more wrestling, probably, speed. They're going to be covering something else. We're also going to have our dudes 3NT representing on there. And hey, like we said, Mac made this graphic. There we go. Spring Stampede 1999, baby. Mac and I will be talking all about that amazing WCW show. There's a lot of people out there that consider Spring Stampede 1999 WCW's last truly good pay-per-view. And hey, when we were watching it, there's a lot of amazing matches. Do you remember Blitzkrieg? Yeah, he was probably one of the most influential cruiserweights of his time. So many people were talking about him back in the day, and I think to this day a lot of people also say what an amazing talent he was. And his opening match with Juventud was iconic. You ever think about a match with Chris Benoit and Dean Malenko taking on Raven and Perry Saturn? Think that's going to be good? Guess what? It's awesome. Honestly, I'd say in one way or another, all the different matches on that show have delivered. We're not going to talk about Mikey Whipwreck and Scotty Riggs, though. We're going to leave that off to the side. Now we're going to, of course, cover everything. But yeah, chat, I want to absolutely thank you guys so much for joining me on this amazing episode of the Sneakdown recap. Of course, we will be having everyone else joining us next week. We're going to have John. We're going to have Mac. We're going to probably have, sometimes CJ's here, sometimes Brittany's here. We have such a revolving door. Everyone's always welcome. But yeah, this is Nick LaRocco. You see me on Dirt Sheet Radio. Hey, feel free to go and give me a follow, give me any type of share on my content. I absolutely appreciate it. You want to go and comment on my stuff too. I love being able to talk to you, chat. And just like on here too, it was awesome to be able to talk to you. Chat, again, thank you so much. Have a great night. Have a great weekend. You're awesome. And we're going to be seeing you tomorrow night for a pay-per-view, because Wrestle Dream. Let's go. All right.